Senator Ben Cardin stopped at the Annapolis Maritime Museum on December 6 as part of his farewell tour across the state, meeting with Anne Arundel. Over the past few weeks, Senator Ben Cardin has traveled across different parts of Maryland on a farewell tour, delivering his final speech in the Senate. However, the senior Maryland senator has made one thing clear: this is not a goodbye but rather a see you later. The Maryland Democrat has yet to decide on his next steps, but even after 58 years in elected office, Cardin says his time in politics isn't finished. Cardin, this has been a long journey. I've been extremely fortunate. I'm proud of what I've been able to accomplish. I've run in 18 elections. People have really put their trust in me. Born in Baltimore on October 5, 1943, Cardin attended the University of Pittsburgh and the University of Maryland School of Law, but his political career began early. He won a seat in the Maryland House of Delegates in 1966 while still in law school at just 23 years old. He served in the Maryland House for the next 20 years, including 8 years as Speaker of the House, a position he considers a highlight of his career. In 1986, Cardin was elected to represent Maryland's 3rd Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives, taking over the seat vacated by another Maryland political icon, Barbara Mikulski, when she became Maryland's first female U.S. Senator. In 2006, he was elected to the Senate seat vacated by retiring Senator Paul Sarbanes after 30 years of service. During his time in the Senate, Cardin chaired the Small Business Committee, and last year was elevated to chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee after then-Chair Senator Robert Menendez stepped down amid a federal indictment for bribery. Among his key achievements, Cardin highlights the passage of the Magnitsky Act, which allows the U.S. to impose financial and travel sanctions on foreign officials. He considers his time as chair of the Foreign Relations Committee as one of his career's standout moments. Cardin, to be a member of the U.S. Senate, it's the most distinguished institution in the world. Being part of this Senate family is truly unique. Over his 58 years as an elected official, Cardin has tackled nearly every political issue, from drafting bipartisan legislation to expand retirement programs, to advocating for children's dental care under federal health care programs, and protecting the Chesapeake Bay's health. In May 2023, however, Cardin announced he would not seek re-election. His departure is bittersweet. On one hand, stepping aside has paved the way for Maryland's first black female U.S. Senator, Angela Also Brooks, the former Prince George's County executive, and a Democrat who defeated former Governor Larry Hogan for the role in November. On the other hand, Cardin anticipates a second Trump administration in 2025 and fears the political climate will be more divided than ever. Cardin, we are a deeply divided nation. I hope the Trump administration recognizes that, and I hope they try to unite our country. As he temporarily steps away from public service, Cardin wants to leave Marylanders and state political leaders with a message. People must listen to one another to achieve progress. Cardin, it's so important to listen to each other. Bring everyone to the table, and you'll get better results. You'll find solutions that last longer, rather than changing every 2 years. As for what's next, he isn't sure what his retirement from public service will look like, but he promises to remain involved in politics in some way, possibly focusing on foreign affairs, civic engagement, or environmental advocacy. Cardin's last full year in Congress has been a farewell tour. In August, he hosted his final meeting as a U.S. Senator at the Maryland Association of Counties Conference in Ocean City, where Mayor Richard Meehan presented him with the key to the city for his work on environmental protection in the area. He spent November and December traveling across the state, thanking advocates and local officials for their collaboration throughout nearly 60 years of service. Cardin, it's an opportunity for me to thank my partners. This has been a truly collective effort. We've worked particularly seamlessly with local officials to get things done for our constituents. One of his final achievements was helping secure 100% federal funding to replace the collapsing Francis Scott Key Bridge. This effort continued until the early hours of December 21st, during one of the Senate's last votes of the current session. On December 10th, Cardin delivered his farewell address in the Senate chamber. Cardin, I come to the floor today to say goodbye, as difficult as that is. Marylanders trusted me to represent them for 20 years in the General Assembly, 8 years as Speaker of the House, 20 years in the House of Representatives, and 18 years in the U.S. Senate, including now as chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Being a legislator is no easy task. It requires perseverance, patience, a sense of humor, and optimism. But it is worth it because it makes the world a better place, even in the face of often overwhelming and seemingly insurmountable challenges.